Thanks for appearing today. Mr. Bergthaw, you talked about the World War II construct, obviously, with regard to revisioning of product specifications and how we evolve that. I share the same concern, though, with regard to the customer has created this problem. The government, the Pentagon, has created this defense consolidation and the brittle supply chain we have. And I'm not confident that the government can be the solution to it either. How do we incentivize the industry, free market solutions, to actually create a resilient and diversified supply chain, rebuild the industrial base in a way that's resilient for a sustained conflict? Because during World War II, Japan and Germany had a very centralized defense acquisition ministry, specified everything from on high, and tried to control the entire process from A to Z. And that worked very well early on, but it couldn't keep up with the sheer quantity required, and there is a certain amount of quality in quantity. So that strength for us came from the free market. It came from private companies working in coordination, of course, with the government. But how do we take a defense space that has largely been atrophied to the point of almost non-existence for quantity-level manufacturing, and how do we incentivize the free market to outpace the government in fixing this solution?
Thank you, Senator. There's two ways to approach that. And when I got to the Pentagon, there's this famous chart of we went from 51 prime contractors down to 5. When I got to the Pentagon, all 51 were there. Why did they go away? During a buildup in which we were doubling the size of procurement and research and development expenditures in DoD. They went away for 3 reasons. Number one is, even with those more dollars, there wasn't more quantity to buy. Second is, we began to put more and more regulations on top, the compliance regulations. I'm working on, and I'll be glad to provide it to the committee when I'm finished this, a comparison of the compliance requirements that a government contractor has, not just defense contractors, but any government contractor, and what happens in the private sector. And it's a list of at least 15 or 20 things that cost more, take time, and don't really improve results, in my opinion. And I think that's an important piece of it as well. Ford Aerospace, Fairchild Industries, Sperry, Burroughs, GM, they all went out of the defense business in the middle of the buildup because it was no longer, 2 things. It was no longer time value money in the private sector is way different than the time value money in DoD. So the returns weren't there. The opportunities for better returns elsewhere were there. So you have to be able to counter that with government policies and programs that offset that risk-reward basis that the financial market's always looking for. And I think that can be done, but that's not the path we're on right now.
So for any of you who choose to answer then, how does the government remove the bureaucratic red tape that really creates a sclerosis in the acquisition chain that disincentivizes companies from wanting to do business with the Pentagon, that disincentivizes companies from that we don't have to have SpaceX and Palantir sue the government to buy a solution that's better for the warfighter. And that's what's been going on. A better solution can be sitting on the shelf, but since it doesn't comport with a dizzying array of Byzantine regulations, either it's not purchased or that company has to sue the government to give the warfighter the equipment they need. Now, how do we change those regulations quickly, internally, so people want to do business and want to support the warfighter?
Great question, Senator. I would start, again, what's unique about the government contracting system is, it's a monopsony. You have one buyer or different sets of buyers, and so it creates different dynamics. They can set the market. So the power is in the hands of the government or the Department of Defense to change incentive structures, because companies, private companies, public companies, they respond to incentives. And so the onus is on the department to change those incentive structures, and Congress can help here. And a couple of ways that we can do that that will create more opportunities for companies across the spectrum is to to bring the power of our capital system that you allude to bear. And because if we want to build factories in advance of need, that can be done through the government investing. But we're not going to be doing any more big CHIPS bills, that kind of government investment. But if you incentivize companies and create offtake agreements or financing programs that enable them to make a bet at below market rates, like the Department of Energy has, and builds off what the Office of Strategic Capital is doing, that is how you get lots of money, which is the private equity and venture capital money to invest. And that will help build capacity and build competitors for the department.
Can I just add one quick thing? I think there also needs to be a recognition of risk acceptance in the department. Contracting officers are personally liable for, something goes wrong with the contracting. Program managers are promoted if they produce things and nothing goes wrong. So there is a very low risk tolerance in the department, and I think that contributes to the fact of not introducing new suppliers, not wanting to change things, not wanting to, bring in new industries. So I think there needs to be that piece of it that accounts for it as well.
Well, thank you. Quantity, iteration, and speed are key. And, what won World War II for us wasn't the capability of our technology. It was our ability to build lots of things fast and get in the hands of our warfighters. So we got to get back to that. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Sheehy. Senator Kane, you are recognized.
Thank you, Senator.